Sabby Sabs is a steadily growing YouTuber that I actually had a lot of hope for. They are Bernie supporter, and it looked like they were going to get their big break when Jimmy Dore came on their video program, and they took the side of Jimmy Dore against the Young Turks. So I thought we might have some things in common, and I did like a lot of their content. That was until I came across this particular clip on Twitter. So I'm going to let you watch the clip, and then I'm going to comment on some of the issues that are in it. But it basically amounts to this. Unfortunately, Sabby's a racist.
And Jake put a comment in the chat, and this is interesting. He said, who treats black girls or black women worse, white men or white women?
Ooh. I got an answer.
I know. I think we all have an answer.
So here we have somebody who's asking them to generalize which of the entire white race, either the males or the females, treats black people worse. That's a racist question in of itself. So let me ask you this. If we were to make a video with a panel of white people saying which one commits more crime, which one assaults us more, which one steals from us more, would that be acceptable? Would that be okay? No, that would be racist. Which is why this is racist.
I have an answer. We need to answer it because what do y'all think?
White women.
Yeah.
White women, 100%. I can tell you, like, this is some nonsense. White women. For white women, it's almost like I sense the protection of white supremacy more, or like the white structure more, because it helps them. And so like I feel pushed back by them more, or told off by them more.
What tends to happen is we will create something and then somebody else will steal it and not give us credit for it. Black girls were making dances to music, and white women were stealing those dances, acting like they were theirs, not ever crediting the black women who actually created the song. So we're still actively being erased. And I think one thing that can actually help, or one thing that helps that happen, is the fact that our history is largely erased. No matter what we go through, we're not supposed to be angry. We can handle all the pain because we're strong black women, and we're not always strong.
Yeah, bro. Sometimes we like to cry. Sometimes we have to cry. Like I have like bad anxiety. So like, and that actually was something that like was such a mental hurdle for me getting into activism, was my anxiety. So it's like, we have our vulnerabilities.
Sometimes the liberal response tends to be, the white liberal response tends to be, I don't see color. Please don't say that.
Wow.
Just please stop telling us that. When you say you don't see color, that means you don't see us.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, some of the people that I would assume were the ones who were on the recording as well also decided to pipe in, but I said, so it's better to literally weigh what everyone's color is when interacting with them instead of treating them as an individual? To Jay motherfucking says, seems like you're trying to miss the point. Did you watch the stream? We addressed this exactly. You can treat us like we're people without stripping us of our culture. If not, that says a lot about you. Now, I was only responding to the clip that was put up on Twitter. I haven't been able to find a long stream version of this specific conversation, but there's no context in which any of this is okay. Anyway, and then another one says, like, we literally covered this exact issue. Clearly you didn't watch. And then another one said, what they said, Lamau, we said, how can you, or what they said, Lamau, we said, how can you see color, but still, or how can you not see color, but still treat us as an equal individual? So to which I responded, not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. None of them had a reply after this, and I unfollowed Sabby and I unsubscribed to her channel shortly afterwards. I'm going to try to share this with her. I have no idea if she'll see it. But at the end of the day, this is exactly, it's just racism. You can't just address, well, what side of, like, what group of people, mistreats us more, because then you're treating an entire race of people as a monolith. which is equally wrong if it's done to black people, and it's equally wrong if it's done to white people. The whole point of the civil rights struggle was that people should be treated by the content of their character. Now, in case anybody needs a refill on this, I put aside a couple of quotes of a certain individual who knew a lot about this.
The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to a distrust of all white people. For many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny. Will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
So let me give you some parting thoughts. Sabby, if you do decide to watch this, it really comes down to this. You said that if we don't see your color, we don't see you. Are you asking us to define you by the color of your skin? Should you be judged by the color of your skin? Because that's the only way to interpret what you're suggesting. And that's one of the things that differs when it comes to critical race theory, as I've been starting to read these books, is that critical race theory pushes back against the idea of treating everybody equally, and not factoring in the color of their skin. So if that's the direction you're headed, I'm parting ways and I have no interest in watching your content anymore. Because that direction is not going to lead to any form of equality, and will actually seek to undo the work of competent civil rights people who came before you and me. That's just the end of it. I was judging you as an individual. The fact that you were black wasn't relevant to me. That means that your race is not relevant to me. That I'm judging you specifically as you. Your race should not define you any more than my race defines me. Or the race of anybody who mistreats you defines them. Thanks for listening.